Should creationism and intelligent design be taught in science classes? I don't think that they should, and I'm going to try to explain to you why I don't think that they should. Mostly because I think science is about discovery. And when you have theories like creationism and intelligent design, that doesn't lead towards discovery. But first I want to make sure everyone knows the difference between creationism and intelligent design because they are very different. So creationism is a literal interpretation of the Bible. They literally believe that God created Adam and Eve. They literally believe that the universe was created in 7 days, our time. They literally believe that Noah's Ark is how we have all of our animals today. That is what creationism is. Intelligent design is kind of it's almost deistic, but it's the theory that God created the Big Bang and kind of chilled for a while. And then he shaped the earth, and then put life on the earth, and then, kind of shaped evolution. They believe in evolution, but they believe that God shaped evolution. And he shaped the Big Bang, and it's a much less literal definition of the Bible. They look to the Bible for moral reasons, not so much for scientific reasons, but they still believe that God was there and played a hand. But that brings up the question, what are the problems with these being taught in science classes? Well, the problem with creationism is that we know that the Earth is older than 10,000 years old. We have carbon dated the Earth at 4.5 billion years old. We have fossils that we put hundreds of millions of years old. So the question of the Earth being 10,000 years old, as it said in creationism, is just fundamentally false. We also know that through scientific evidence, fossils and DNA, that we know that life on Earth evolved from single-celled organisms. Which evolved into marine life, which evolved into mammals, reptiles, all animals as we know them today. And then the last problem with creationism is that's Noah's Ark. It's about 500 feet. And right there, that's the Wyoming. It's about 300 feet. I'm going to cut it off because the mast is just long. And then that's the Titanic. The problem with that is the Wyoming was built by some of the finest ship makers in the United States. And since it was made entirely out of wood, when they would sail it, it would bend in every direction. And upon them sailing it in mild waters, the ship snapped in half and 14 people died. So to think that a ship made by some of the finest ship makers in the United States, made out of wood, about half the size of Noah's Ark, snapped in half under mild waters just raises questions about how could a ship that's 500 feet long and made out of wood by someone who had no previous shipmaking experience survive a flood of the entire world. They don't add up. Problems with intelligent design are a bit more complicated because it's a bit more lax of a theory, and the debates that I've had with people who believe in intelligent design, they usually just adopt or adjust their theory. But one of the best things that I've seen against intelligent design is you'll notice, okay, let's look at my fish first. This is, as we know it today, is a laryngeal nerve. And it originated in marine life, which we evolved from. And notice the hook shape. And if you look at humans, once fish started evolving into mammals and reptiles, every animal has this. Right there, that's the start of the laryngeal nerve in the brain. And it comes down, and it wraps around the heart, and goes back up to the larynx. It's about 2 inches between the brain and the larynx, but instead it wraps all the way around. That's what scientists refer to as like a scar from evolution, because it's much more complicated for it to adopt the 2 inches than it is to just keep going with the flaw that it already made, which is what happened from fish to humans, and then here you have it in a giraffe. The giraffe's brain coming all the way down its neck, we all know giraffe necks are long, comes around its heart and back up in the larynx. So then the question you have to ask about that is what kind of intelligent designer designs that? It doesn't make sense. And then the other theory that comes with intelligent design is the God of the gaps argument. People say that, well, I believe in God because he can explain what science can't. But science knows more today than it did 10 years ago. So by that definition, that just makes God an ever-receding pocket of scientific ignorance. And then the last argument is, well, something can't come from nothing, and that's their Big Bang argument. Something can't come from nothing, but something can come from nothing. I, however, can't explain that because I'm not a physicist. I'm sure Stephen could explain that. So I got Lawrence Krauss, and he'll hopefully explain that to you.
realizations of the 20th century was that quantum mechanics, combined with relativity, allows something to come from nothing. In fact, nothing is unstable. Religion and theology, and to some extent philosophy, have contributed almost to nothing to our fundamental understanding of the universe. Because questions such as what is something and what is nothing are really scientific questions, not philosophical ones. When we apply quantum mechanics to gravity, the truly remarkable thing is that even space itself can be created from nothing by quantum mechanical effects. There's been a revolution in cosmology in the last 25 years.
That's pretty much the gist of what he's going to say. It gets a little bit more in depth, but he also gets a little off topic, so that's why I cut it off. So the question still remains, should creationism and intelligent design be taught in science class? No, because it's not science, it's religion. If you're going to teach creationism and intelligent design, why don't you teach the Muslim or Islamic theory of how the world was created and all the religious theories of how the world was created? It's not science, it's religion. Should it be taught in a history class? Sure. Should it be taught in a philosophy class? Sure. A religion class? Sure. But not a science class. There's no evidence for creationism or intelligent design also, but we have evidence for evolution. We have evidence that something can come from nothing, and that's what we should be exploring. And then another argument is science has been wrong before, and that's right. That's 100% correct, and that's what's beautiful about science, is that it's wrong and people are always looking and searching for the right answers in science. And the thing is, you can't get a science book from 5 years ago because it's out of date. So why would you trust a book from 2,000 years ago? How out of date is that?